Seeking Dawn is, without a doubt, one of the most visually impressive VR games that I've ever played. Each and every environment is bursting with not only color, but also imaginative alien life that moves with grace and subtlety. The art direction is simply pure magic. Consider me disappointed then when, after spending several hours with the game, poor design decisions and lackluster balancing issues made it difficult to enjoy the vast, jaw-dropping visuals that I saw around every corner. In Seeking Dawn, you take on the role of James Weston, a good guy operative that's sent to investigate the disappearance of some allied forces on a remote alien planet that's occupied by a bunch of bad guys. The story is really just about enough to keep you going, but that's about it. But you shouldn't play Seeking Dawn for the story. This one is all about the shooting and gawking at the visuals and looting. Luckily, the co-op features work just fine, and they do a great job of making everything a bit more fun. The closest point of comparison that I can think of for Seeking Dawn is Farpoint. Both games are campaign-focused first-person shooters exclusively available in VR, and they revolve around crash landing on an alien planet while searching for missing allies. But in the case of Farpoint, it's a very linear shooter, and going from point A to point B and killing everything in your path. But with Seeking Dawn, on the other hand, there is a heavy exploration undertone that helps shape and mold most of the mechanics. For example, in the first hour of the game, you'll find 2 gadgets that let you grind up plant life to collect wood, berries, and other resources, as well as one that lets you carve up exotic ores for valuable minerals. This is far and away the most tedious and poorly conceived part of the game. Not only are most resources limited and scarce, but you'll often find yourself blindly wandering around zones in search of specific rocks that are just barely a different color than another rock to get a particular mineral that you need to make something hyper-specific back at your base. These crafting roadblocks show up far more often than I would have liked. I've got no idea why there's not a map system indicating where certain resources spawn, or at least a reliable way of tracking where to find specific ores. By the midway point, there's so much of the game dependent on your ability to craft weapons, armor, and ammo that if you can't find that specific ore that you really need, then you're just screwed. Not to mention the obnoxious survival mechanics, which are really just 2 percentages at the top of your screen that tick down slowly in real time to denote when you're hungry or thirsty. When a developer shoves those types of mechanics into its otherwise straightforward shooter to increase difficulty and bloat features, it's just annoying. It's not often that a game feels like it'd be better by cutting away features, but Seeking Dawn is one of those cases. If resource gathering was less mandatory and the survival system was just gone entirely, Seeking Dawn as a whole would be an overall better game. As it stands, those features just get in the way of the fun. Generally, the combat is engaging, even if most enemies employ your standard run-at-player until one of us is dead strategy. Eventually, you'll take on bigger boss monsters with more elaborate attack patterns that are fun to tackle in groups and extremely hard to fight solo. Overall, the frustrating resource management and cumbersome survival elements detract from an otherwise fun adventure across alien wilderness. Combat has its high points and the game is beautiful, but it could have been so much more. In the end, we award Seeking Dawn a final score of 6 out of 10. It gets the job done, but when you peel back the layers and look beneath the surface, you'll find that not all that glitters is shimmering VR gold. For more on Seeking Dawn and other VR games, keep it locked right here at uploadvr.com.